All right, so this is the window. We want to do a little awning. We just wanted to add a little more aesthetics to the front of this wall. We're going to kind of replicate this other bigger awning that we have over here. It'll be slightly different, but not much. But to calculate how the size we want, see, we got steel siding, kind of like a board and batten would be. We don't want to mount our braces on these ribs. We want to mount it on the flats. So I see right here, I have about 5.5 inches, okay? Well, over here, I got a rib right by the window and I want it to look more even. So if I put it tight to here, it would not be tight to here. So what I'm gonna do is kick it a little bit that way to get it closer to the same reveal as I can here. So with that being said, I know which I'm gonna take and add a block where my braces are gonna come out and attach to the awning coming out. So I know what I want here, and depending on where you're mounting it to, I know I want to have meat in the wall. See, I got a couple trimmers here and kings, but it's not enough to tie to coming out this far, so I went ahead and put some meat inside so I know I will hit it when I fasten it to the wall. So this is my second one we're doing, so I know exactly what we want on this one, where the first one took a little more thinking to calculate what I want. So let's go inside and cut them all and show you kind of how we're going to do it. Okay guys, so the first thing I'm going to cut is my ledger board. This is where the rafters tie into a board that goes up against the wall that we will mount above the window. So I know I need my brace system at least 40 1/4 wide. I'm going to add 3 inches to that, and I'll show you why in a little bit. So I'm going to make 43 1/4. We're going to just cut it. See, now I'm basing mine on the size of my window and my siding. That determines kind of what I'm doing. Your window, your siding, or stucco, whatever you have, you can do probably whatever you want. But and see, I got a little bit of damage here, but it's going to go against the wall, so you won't see it. So I'm going to cut this one first. Now I'm going to cut my rafters, and I know what I want. I'm basically going to make it the same pitch as my roof, which is a 512. Or since my saw goes in degrees, I'm going to go to 22.5. It's more like 22, just because it's easier to remember, and my saw clicks in perfectly right there. So, cut. I know I want mine to be 28 inches from here to here, or here to here, to make it the same as my other one. So we will mark 28, and I will wear those. So that's one. I'm going to go ahead and do 3 of them, so I'm going to cut 2 more. So we got 3 of them cut. We're going to check them, make sure they're all the same, which they are. And one's a little taller, but they're the same length. So set these down here. And these basically, so these right here are going to go like this. One like this, like this. Like so. So that's kind of how those are going to go. So we'll attach like that. I'm going to go ahead and cut my brace system because I know what I want for there as well. And we'll cut everything, get it assemble it afterwards. Okay, so I got almost everything I need cut. So this is the ledger board I was talking about. I added 3 inches to it from where I want my braces to sit, and I'll show you why in a little bit. And I cut my rafters. I got 3 of them, except the one in the middle is whatever the dimension of this board is shorter, which normally it's 1.5 inches, but this board's a little like 1.75 inches, because these we want to cap this end grain right here. So when you see it from the side, you don't see the end grain. So we cut those, and we're going to go ahead and attach them now. They all got the same degree, so I'm going to attach this board like this. And we'll start with that. We're going to make this one exactly center. So we want this to be flush on top right here. Come on. And we're gonna. So we want this point in here to meet. We don't want this to stick up above here. And then we make this flush with this. So now I'm going to attach the other two. And we're going to measure, just measure what the center of these is and make the center. So outside, 46.5, so 23.25, the center. Come back to 3/4. 22.3. Want this to flush right on this edge right here, just like where it meets on these sides, so it all planes the same. And we'll just suck it tight to the profile. we're going to set this aside for now. We want this exposed look on the bottom, so we are taking, this is a cedar channel siding we used on another awning above our front door, and I'm just going to turn it upside down like so, and then another one like so. That way if water ever does get in here, it can run out. You overlap it kind of the same direction as siding. If I go the other way like this, water runs down, it's just going to get trapped right here. So you don't want to do that because it'll run down here and sit here. You want it to run just like siding would, but bear in mind it's upside down. So if it runs down in here, now it can run out. So it's going to go like that. So we're going to start like that, and we're going to start slowly assembling them. This very first one, I am going to get rid of this lip here, and I'm going to cut it on a bevel with my table saw to the same degree, a 22.5, so it planes, and when I put my my drip edge, it sits tight, nice and tight. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. You can just, okay. So we actually decided to pre-stain these because it's like a siding, it's got a channel. And if you stain or paint anything that can contract and expand, sometimes like you might have a line left if it contracts, and you can see it later. So we decided to put at least one coat on now before we put it on, because it'll be a little bit easier. So that's what I'm kind of doing. I made them 3 inches wider than the rafter here, inches wider here, and then the reason being, and I'll also make it 3 inches wider here, but it'll help protect the rafter and the rafter tail, and then when the roofing goes on, the drip edge will cover whatever is pretty much here, and then it's less staining, it just lasts longer. So anytime you can overhang for water to drip, it's better. So that's what we're kind of doing. Got this one tacked where it kind of goes, but we're building everything on the ground because it's easier. But what we want to do is, I already nailed this one, make sure it's the same distance here as it is there. But you always want to make sure you stay square when you're building something on the ground. It's easy to not make it square. So we're 58 and 9/16, 58 and 3/8. So that means we're 3/16 off. We need to kick this side this way. So that's why I only put like one nail on each, so it'll pivot. So I'm gonna see if I can. I can. If I can, just hold. Okay, 15.5. 58 and 7/16, close enough. It's pretty good. So put a more in just to kind of keep it square. So now I'm going to grab another one, slide it underneath. I'm not nailing near the edge till the next one goes in because it gets really tight. So I'm going to line them up. So I know the last one I'm going to have to rip down, so I'm going to go ahead and measure it, rip it down, and we're going to finish nailing these off. Okay, so we got these all nailed off. This is kind of what mine looks like. And this is actually what it looks like underneath. It needs obviously more stain, but since I'm putting metal on it and my fasteners are longer than these boards are, I'm going to go ahead and add something. I'm going to add some board here and board here on top, and some plywood. Or you could just, I could put more plywood on, but I got to build it up towards at least 1.5 inches thick. So depending on what you're doing, my screws are 1.5 inches for my metal. My screws run this way. That's what I'm going to kind of do, but you can do it however you want. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you how it comes out. Okay, so here's what I did. I did want to elevate this so it worked for my fasteners like I was talking about, so I just framed it out so the plywood wouldn't sag. I ran a 2x6 cedar on the bottom because I want to keep it lightweight, and if water ever does get in there, it's all cedar anyways. But the reason I use 2x6 is because the rafter tail's actually back here, and a 3.5 inch board barely caught. So I put a 2x6 there. I went ahead and trimmed it out around the outside with a 1x4. See, I left it down below this edge a little bit because when the metal comes down, it covers up most of it, and I wanted a little more of a reveal here. So a little bit, not a lot, but. So now I'm going to cut a piece of plywood, this same dimension, and then fasten it, and then this roof will be about done. And then I gotta make the supports and add them on. Believe it or not, I was going to cut a sheet of plywood and I thought that this one would be big enough, but actually, it's just scrap line around the house. It actually is within a 1/2 inch this way and a 1/4 inch this way, and I'm just going to use it. It's like perfect. So, it won't matter if it's a little short. So actually, this is my next step. It's an awning roof. It's not like anything finished on the inside, but since I got some extra roofing underneath, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. Anyway, so this is the brace that we made. We made 2 of these. I'm gonna put them on each side. I put this on 2x6 on a 50-degree angle, and then what I did is I glued it here, and screwed them from the back side so you don't see fasteners right here. And the reason it's spaced is because the rafter on the side coming down is going to come down in here, and we're going to sandwich it. So now that I got 2 of these made, I'm going to go ahead and attach them. So I'll show you kind of how I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to get ready to attach these. Now, as we discussed, this is going to go on the flat part of the steel, but this ledger board is going to, since it's going horizontally, it's going to go across the ribs. So since I know the ribs of my steel are 3/4 of an inch, I just took a leftover 1x right here, and I set it on top on each side so it's elevated. I'm trying to screw it the way it's going to actually fasten to the wall, and I know the height I want, and it's easier building this on the floor, so that's what we're doing. So this stays flat, and it planes. So I'm going to put it right where I want it. I'm going to attach a screw from each side. Not going to make it tight because I want it to be able to pivot, and that's why I'm only doing 1 screw so this thing can swing in case it is just a hair off. So. So we got that attached. We're going to attach the other one, make it the same, and then we will go test fit it out and see how it kind of works out. So, okay, so we just are finishing up this awning. Didn't really film the metal, now that we did our metal in previous videos, but just took a couple panels, screwed them down, put some closures in just so you can't see up in there. It's all one sealed unit. It's got some roofing underlayment on top, the decking underneath the metal. And then we just put this drip edge and these corner trims. So I can kind of show you. This is kind of what it's looking like. I think it looks pretty sharp. And what's kind of cool is from the inside of the window, this is what you see. Never mind my kids, they're just out being kids. They're probably still alive, but I'm thinking I'm gonna take some bolts, big black bolts, and put a nut, kind of like I did up on those, just for aesthetics. I don't know if it really needs it. I could just add another screw. So, but I think it's looking really nice. I got to go do one more over there, an identical window. So, yeah, this is what it looks like. If you guys got any questions or comments, leave them below. Subscribe if you want to follow along. We got some more stuff coming, but I think it looks really nice. This is just how I did a window awning for mine. So, all right, till next time, guys.